We all experience failure at some point in life, but have you ever wondered why we fail? Is it because we don't have the potential, or is there something deeper going on? One of the biggest reasons we fail is because we fear failure itself. We've been taught that failure is something to avoid at all costs, and because of that, we live in constant fear of it. We become paralyzed by the thought of what could go wrong, and in doing so, we never take the necessary risks to move forward. One of the main reasons we fail is because we are afraid of failure itself. This fear holds us back from taking risks, stepping out of our comfort zones, and pursuing our dreams. Success doesn't come overnight. Many people give up too soon when they encounter obstacles. Persistence is the key to overcoming the difficulties that come our way. But too often we stop just before we experience a breakthrough. We fail when we don't believe in ourselves. Self-doubt creates a barrier that keeps us from moving forward. If we don't have confidence in our abilities, we won't take the steps necessary to succeed. Without a clear vision or purpose, we lack direction. We end up going through life aimlessly, without focus or intention, which leads to failure. Having a sense of purpose is vital for staying motivated and making progress. The fear of being judged or rejected by others can paralyze us. We often allow the opinions of others to dictate our actions and choices, which prevents us from truly living out our potential. Many people fail because they are too comfortable. They settle for a life that feels safe, even if it isn't fulfilling or meaningful. Growth and success come from stepping outside of comfort zones, but fear keeps many from doing that. We often fail because we try to do things alone. Having accountability partners, mentors, or a strong support system is crucial to staying on track and overcoming the challenges that come with pursuing a goal. We all experience failure at some point in life, but have you ever wondered why we fail? Is it because we don't have the potential, or is there something deeper going on? One of the biggest reasons we fail is because we fear failure itself. We've been taught that failure is something to avoid at all costs. And because of that, we live in constant fear of it. We become paralyzed by the thought of what could go wrong. And in doing so, we never take the necessary risks to move forward. The truth is, failure is not the enemy. It's a part of the process. But we let fear stop us. And fear keeps us from trying, from taking that first step, or from continuing when things get tough. When we let fear control us, we never discover the strength and resilience that's hidden deep within us. Another reason we fail is a lack of persistence. So often, we give up too soon. The road to success is rarely smooth, and it's easy to throw in the towel when we face challenges. But success is not determined by how many times we fall, but by how many times we rise again. We need to embrace persistence, to keep pushing even when it feels like we're getting nowhere. The breakthrough is often closer than we think, but we quit right before it comes. Self-doubt is another powerful force that leads to failure. When we don't believe in ourselves, we don't take action. Self-doubt whispers lies in our ears, telling us that we're not good enough, that we're not capable. It causes us to hesitate, to second-guess ourselves, and to abandon our dreams before they even have a chance to take root. We need to silence that voice of insecurity and step forward with the confidence that we were made for more than our fears. Sometimes we fail because we lack vision or purpose. Without a clear goal in mind, we drift aimlessly through life. We end up feeling stuck, unsure of where we're going and unsure of how to get there. Purpose is the compass that guides us through the tough times and gives our lives meaning. When we know our why, we are motivated to keep going even when the road is hard. Another reason for failure is the fear of judgment and rejection. We are so concerned with what others think of us that we often make decisions based on their opinions rather than our own convictions. We hold back because we're afraid of being criticized, rejected, or misunderstood. But the truth is, if we let the fear of judgment rule our lives, we will never take the bold steps necessary to pursue our dreams. Settling for comfort is another trap that leads to failure. We all love comfort, don't we? But comfort doesn't lead to growth. It doesn't lead to success. If we're always comfortable, we're never stretching ourselves, never pushing beyond our limits. Success requires discomfort. It requires stepping outside of the familiar and embracing the unknown. If we want to achieve more, we need to be willing to leave our comfort zones behind. Finally, we often fail because we try to do it all alone. We don't seek help, and we don't have the support we need. Accountability is a powerful tool. When we surround ourselves with people who support us, who challenge us, and who hold us accountable, we are more likely to succeed. We don't have to do it on our own. We weren't meant to. So why do we fail in life? It's not because we don't have what it takes. It's because we let fear, self-doubt, lack of persistence, and other barriers stand in our way. But here's the good news. We can overcome these obstacles by facing our fears, embracing persistence, finding our purpose, and seeking support. We can turn failure into a stepping stone to success. Isolation can be a heavy burden that weighs not only on the heart, but also on the mind. It's more than just physical loneliness. It seeps into our emotional well-being and leaves us feeling disconnected from the world around us. This feeling of isolation can creep in gradually, or it can strike suddenly, leaving us feeling like we've been left behind. No matter how it comes, the effects of isolation can be profound, often leading to feelings of sadness, confusion, and even hopelessness. The impact of isolation starts with the silence. It's the empty space where laughter and conversation once filled the air. It's the absence of connection, of seeing familiar faces or hearing kind words. When isolated, the world around you can seem distant and cold, as if everyone else is living their lives while you are stuck in a separate reality. This silence can feel deafening, a reminder of the disconnection you're experiencing. The sense that nobody understands, nobody cares, and that you are facing life alone can lead to a spiral of negative thoughts. These thoughts often worsen the isolation, creating a vicious cycle that seems impossible to break. Isolation also has a way of distorting our self-image. When we're alone for too long, we begin to question our worth. We might wonder if we've done something wrong or if there's something inherently flawed about us that causes others to distance themselves. The lack of validation from others can make us feel invisible, unimportant, and insignificant. We start to internalize these feelings, believing that if we were more outgoing, more attractive, or more interesting, we wouldn't be in this situation. The truth is, no matter how much we try to perfect ourselves, the answer to ending isolation doesn't lie in changing who we are. The answer lies in seeking connection and support, no matter how difficult it might seem. Mentally, isolation can have a toll on our well-being. Without the support of loved ones or friends to help us process emotions and navigate challenges, we are left to handle everything on our own. Stress and anxiety can build up because there's no one to talk to, no one to reassure us that we're not alone in our struggles. Over time, the weight of carrying everything by ourselves can lead to burnout or emotional exhaustion. We begin to feel disconnected from our own selves, as if our identity is slipping away. This can lead to a sense of confusion, where we struggle to remember who we once were or who we wanted to become. The more we stay isolated, the harder it becomes to reconnect with others and with our true selves. On a physical level, isolation can also manifest in negative ways. Studies have shown that loneliness can contribute to various health issues, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and weakened immune systems. The emotional stress of being isolated can affect the body's ability to fight off illness, making us more vulnerable to physical ailments. Without the physical presence of others to encourage us to take care of ourselves, whether it's eating healthy meals or getting enough rest, we can fall into patterns of neglect that exacerbate our feelings of isolation. Our physical and mental health become intertwined in a cycle that's difficult to escape without external intervention. The emotional burden of isolation is heavy because it doesn't just affect our present, it clouds our future. When we feel disconnected and alone, it's hard to see a way out. It's hard to imagine that things could ever change. Hope seems distant, and the possibility of building new connections feels like an impossible task. But even in the deepest moments of isolation, there's a glimmer of light. The first step toward healing is acknowledging the weight of isolation and understanding that it doesn't define us. Reaching out even when it feels difficult is the path toward breaking free from the burden that isolation creates. It's not an easy road, but with each step, the heavy load begins to lighten, one connection at a time. Isolation is a heavy burden that impacts every aspect of our lives, emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's not just the absence of people around us, it's the feeling of being disconnected from the world, from our purpose, and from our own selves. The silence of isolation can distort our sense of self-worth, leaving us questioning our value and wondering why we're left in solitude. As we face these challenges alone, the burden grows heavier, affecting our mental health, physical well-being, and sense of belonging. But we must remember that isolation doesn't define us. It's a temporary phase, and no matter how difficult it may feel, it can be overcome. The first step is recognizing the weight of isolation and understanding that we are worthy of connection and love. We are not meant to face life alone. It's through vulnerability and reaching out for help that we can begin to rebuild our connections, restore our mental and emotional well-being, and rediscover our place in the world. No matter how isolating the journey may seem, there is always hope for healing and connection. We don't have to carry the burden alone. There is always a way forward.